Malcolm Simmons has announced his intentions to enter the transfer portal, and Auburn's 2026 football schedule has officially been released. There's a lot to get into this live edition of the Uptempo podcast.
You are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
Yes, sir. What is up to my Auburn family? What is up to the Uptempo gang? I'm your host, Dustin Smith. Welcome to another live episode of the Uptempo podcast. We do these every single Sunday morning. As always, I got my guy, Nick Frazier from the Water Cooler Talk podcast here to talk about all of it with me. Nick, how you doing this weekend, brother?
I'm doing well, man. Hope everybody's doing great. How about yourself? How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We talked about this last week in terms of Perry Thompson. And if you remember, I said there was a guy that commented on one of his posts saying, let's go get our money, brother. That one person that made that comment was a young Malcolm Simmons, and it appears that he meant what he said. He has intentions to enter the transfer portal. So, Nick, it's just this is kind of where I sit with all of this, right? And I want to reiterate here, I'm not mad personally at any of these players. I'm disappointed that it didn't work the way that we wanted it all to work. These guys, Cam Coleman, Bryce Kane, Perry Thompson, Malcolm Simmons, they called themselves the Freeze Four.
Yep.
I think they like try to get a YouTube channel started. I think they quickly kind of realized when they became D1 football players that doing all that and running a YouTube channel might be a little much. But they bought into it is what I'm saying. They were about it, the Freeze Four. And you've seen two of those guys so far already announce their intentions to hit the portal. So I think that's the main thing here. There are other things. I watched Philip Duke's video, and he kind of spoke on it, and I know how plugged in Dukes is, particular in these kind of conversations. So I'll speak on some stuff that he said. But I think the main thing here is I'm disappointed because I know what kind of football player Malcolm Simmons can be. I'm disappointed because I know the potential that's there in Perry Thompson. We saw a little bit more with Malcolm. But ultimately, when a group of guys call themselves the Freeze Four, and Hugh Freeze is no longer the head coach, well, I mean, what did we expect to happen? And it's if in 2 years Auburn lands 3 to 4 great wide receivers and they call themselves the Goalish Group, and Alex Goalish gets fired, then things can change, man. They committed to a plan. They committed to a process that, unfortunately, blame can be put. What percentage, you want to pass out? How much do you want to slice up the pie and divvy it up and give it to who? Whatever. Doesn't matter. Didn't work. And I remember when Malcolm Simmons committed, he did a space. And, this is back when spaces on X were popping. There'd be thousands of people in there. And people were just asking them questions. And at that time, all the people in that big class, Hugh's first big class there, his first full one, a lot of the guys were committing. They were saying, Hugh Freeze has sold me, and I want to be a part of making Auburn great again. The fact that Auburn is a historical power, they are traditional power, but it has been down lately. Hugh sold a lot of those guys on the fact of you can come do something special and be remembered by this fan base forever for being a part of bringing it back, being a part of being the rebuild. A lot of guys in that first class, that was, if you go back and read their articles, that's what they said. So I asked Malcolm that. I asked him, I said, Malcolm, was that? He said, I want to win, make no mistake about it. He said, I'm solely here because when me and Hugh Freeze sat down and watched the tape, he showed me what I could do in his offense. And he has guys in the NFL, and he showed me the spot that he can put me in, and then I can. So it was strictly football for him. You got to ask him more questions in that space. He made it very clear. I want to win games. I'm here because of this system. I'm here because I'm committed to what I can do in this offense with Hugh Freeze. And I mean, he had a solid freshman year. This year obviously didn't pop until late there at the end of the season. So again, we've seen the potential that he has, but ultimately there was a vision and there was proof of concept. Again, like Hugh Freeze sat down and showed him, see this right here? Now this is guys doing it in the NFL, and I did it with him at Ole Miss, or I did it with him at Liberty. I can do this with you at Auburn. And Malcolm bought into that because it was being shown to him. And look, other guys did too, right? Like the Freeze, Hugh Freeze sold these guys on this. And you can't even blame them for committing to it because remember like the FaceTimes with the AJ Browns and all that kind of stuff? Like, yeah, man, they saw it and said, okay, that could be us. What they didn't know at the time and what a lot of us didn't know as fans at the time is those days were behind Hugh Freeze. That was things of the past, and it wasn't going to translate into the future. But ultimately, I just think that he committed to a vision. He committed to a system. He committed to an offense that's no longer really going to be there. And does that mean – and I know somebody might be hearing that, and they might be saying, well, he can't fit in Alex Golesh's system. Alex Golesh can't use a guy like Malcolm Simmons. I'm sure he could. And that's where the second part of that kind of comes into what my guy Philip Deuce talked about. And if you haven't watched this video, go check it out, where he talked about market value. And is Auburn like lowballing Malcolm Simmons? Probably not. But are there other teams out there that are going to really pay for that potential? Maybe so. And where I end on all of this is Malcolm Simmons can go be a great player somewhere else. I hope that he does. I'm pulling for him. I wanted him to succeed at Auburn. I wanted Perry to succeed at Auburn. Ultimately, it didn't work. And Auburn had to blow this up. And it sucks. And it just is what it is. But Auburn had to blow the Hugh Freeze experiment up. And look, remember early. Go back to early when Hugh Freeze would talk about Malcolm Simmons. Before Malcolm ever played a game, like in those first fall practices, his face lit up. Like he loved Malcolm. And Malcolm liked Hugh, man. He was a Hugh Freeze guy. So that's just part of this. And it's frustrating. And you hate to see talented guys walk out the door. But I'll end with this, Nick. The guy that we had didn't know how to use him. So ultimately it didn't matter. So to me, this is just part of it. And if Alex Golesh is the right guy, and that is to be determined, but if he is the right guy and his offenses can be relevant in everything that he did at South Florida and he did at Tennessee, he can do it at Auburn, then he can go get another receiver to come do it. So it's like, I'm not mad at Malcolm Simmons. I'm wishing him all the best. I didn't even want to see him go. If there was a list of guys, if you said 5 guys that you don't want Auburn to lose, I would probably put Malcolm Simmons on that top 5. But at the end of the day, man, I get it from all sides. This is just part of when you fire a head coach.
Yeah. To begin, we look at Malcolm, man. Malcolm's a great player, great talent, great athlete. You saw glimpses of what he could be in an offense and how explosive he can be. And so to that point, I wish him nothing but the best, man. I tell him go be great. At the end of the day, I want these guys to be able to go get enough on tape to where they can be able to get to the next level and be able to provide for themselves and their families at that particular time, whether that's at Auburn, whether that's somewhere else. And you have to make the decision. You have to sit down with yourself ultimately, and then you also have to sit down with your family and the people that's close to you to make that decision. And so he decided, I guess he had those talks. He made a decision and said that he felt as if it was best that he go somewhere else and find another place to do that, to get to that dream. So I can't be upset with him about that. Can't be mad at him about that. That's his decision. And he has that right to make that decision. But there's something you said. Something you said in your dialogue there when you said something about proof of concept. And I kind of want to dive into that a little bit. I always hear people talk about proof of concept. We got to show this proof of concept. I can go back and show you this. I can go back and show you that. What about process? Proof of concept versus process. And this kind of gets into, where we're getting at with the coach we have now. I was thinking about this a little bit while you were talking. And then I thought about this a little bit as well. We always talk about, can we show proof of concept is almost like showing what we have already done. what we did. This is what I was able to do. But when you have somebody that shows you a process, you start seeing people do it continuously every single year. You just jump into it, you follow the ritual, you follow the instructions, you follow the process, and you see it continuously produce talent and produce development every single time. Not just one guy, not just like I can just get on the phone and call this one guy. That might just be my best guy. That's proof of concept. That's a concept that you produce. But when you're able to have a process where you can be like, well, look, I got this guy went this year, this guy went this year. Oh, this guy won the Blitikoff. Oh, this guy was a Heisman finalist. This guy right here, this guy. That's a process. So, looking at that, I look at it and I say, I'm excited about where we are with one young Alex Golesh, and I'm more inclined to support and be behind it, because every time we hear him speak, every time you listen to him talk, he talks about being process oriented and being detailed oriented when it comes to building a program and building a team. So I'm pretty sure he saw Malcolm being a part of this offense. I mean, who would not sit here and say that Malcolm wouldn't be an explosive part of his offense? But when you have a process, you also look at it and say, guess what? There's somebody else that we can go out and identify that can come in and do what we would have seen him do in this offense as well. I get it. Everybody is upset about Malcolm Simmons leaving because he committed to Auburn. He chose Auburn from the jump out of high school. But in this day and age of college football and the NIL and transfer portal era, there are always guys out there that are able to come out and be just as explosive, if not better, sometimes when it comes to that. So I'm excited to see how this staffs pivot and see exactly who they have coming up next, because that's what it is. We can't sit back and look at this and think every year that this is going to be, we're going to see the same roster every year, especially in the past 5 years with Auburn, of how we've not been a successful program or successful ball club. You run the risk of having guys leave to go find better opportunities to where they can be able to be to where their brand, it's funny I'm saying that, where their brand can be expanded as well. So yeah, man, I'm excited. The exciting part about this in twofold is I'm excited for Malcolm, because Malcolm made the decision to find out where he feel like he can go expand his brand and expand his opportunity. And I'm excited to see exactly when you hear about this coaching staff talk about the process of, finding guys that fit the system. I'm excited to see who they bring in to replace that guy in that role.
You made a lot of good points there. When you talk about process and proof of concept and kind of comparing them there and what exactly all that means, I look at a guy like Sean McVay in the NFL, and I say, that's a process.
Exactly.
That's a process, and that process works. And receivers come and go, but boy, they just get open in his offense.
Exactly.
And when you talk about proof of concept, but maybe there being a flaw in the process, we can go down to the college game and we can look at the Jimbo Fishers and say, boy, you had a lot of proof of concept.
Yep.
But at some point, your process was flawed and you didn't grow. On the flip side, obviously an extreme example, but Nick Saban. The game changed several times underneath his feet. His last game ever, he went out almost like a close game in the semifinal. Like it's not like the game ever passed him by. His process was always able to change with the times. And so you make a great point there. And then if you're putting on Malcolm Simmons' shoes, you got 2 years of eligibility left, man.
Yep.
So you've already given 2 of your 4 years to hoping that something's going to work. He might hear Alex Golesh say that and say, buddy, I don't have time for that right now. I got to go somewhere. Malcolm Simmons could sit down with Alex Golesh. They could watch film and all. And I'm not, this part is just speculation. But I'm saying they could have sat down and all this, and Malcolm could have walked away saying in his mind, I think that Alex Golesh is going to work at Auburn. And his conclusion still could have been, though, you know what? I've only got 2 years left.
Yep.
I have to go somewhere where I know it's working right now.
Yep.
So that's just the way this goes. I'm not mad at anybody. I'm sure Golesh tried to keep him. And again, one more time to kind of reiterate, like Duke talked about there being some money things there. Not that like Auburn lowballed or anything, but just that maybe Malcolm's representation felt like they can go on the market and really, really get it. And then, again, he commented on that post from Perry a week ago saying, let's go get our money, bro. I kind of knew right then, like, okay, that probably means a little something. And not that I'm not saying he was a problem or anything like that. I have no, this is no shade at Malcolm at all. He's making the best decision for him. But also when I saw that comment under Perry's post, I felt like, and I swear, not in a malicious way, I really did say, okay, go get y'all's money. And then good, I want y'all to, and we'll come bring guys here that can get some wins. And they weren't the reason Auburn was losing. Okay, like, so don't take it. I'm just saying, like, ultimately what Auburn had, that collection wasn't working. So there's going to be some of this reset. And it's okay. And I think it could be okay for everybody. And I think that now, as college football fans, every year when we see these portal guys, I think the reaction is a little bit more calm and measured. We're kind of getting used. We're kind of getting used to it,
Exactly.
If this would have happened 3 years ago, I'd have been on here. This traitor! Oh my God! What in the world? We're kind of. You got to love the logo, man. That's just part of it. You got to love the logo right now. The players are coming and going year by year. I watched that Auburn basketball game last night, and I just felt like I felt so bad for Chattanooga's coach because he did such a good job last year, and because he did such a good job, all of his good players left, and he had to rebuild a whole new team. And this year he's 6-7, and it's just like, congratulations on doing a good job, dude. You lost everybody. So it's a tough world out there. Let's get to some of these comments. I do want to talk about the schedule. Auburn's 2026 schedule has been released again, man. For any of these guys that have hit the portal already, or that are going to enter the portal, this is just going to be part of it. I think you're going to see a lot more guys. I think the guys that you kind of wanted to keep that you lose are most likely going to be offensive guys. Like maybe there's a surprise defender. I don't expect big time contributing defender, and we kind of know what that is, right? We know exactly why that is, and so ultimately, man, it had to happen. It had to happen, and it was part of it. I want to get you guys comments, but what I also want to do, and we got a lot of good comments here, so I want to get to you guys. We'll get into the schedule, the second half of the segment here. I'm gonna issue a challenge, Nick.
Okay.
I got a challenge. Now I don't know. I don't normally do this, but I've got this. I said about the 997th time I got this comment. I said once I get to 1,000, I'm gonna issue a challenge.
Okay. All right.
So I'm gonna issue a challenge out there, and this is just for a particular crowd, and it's just a little homework. My Twitter is at DMcShaw28. You can get at me there. I might even do a call in if you can leave a comment or hit me up and say, man, I got it, and I'll let you call in and explain it to me, because I've been hearing it for the 3 years I've done this show.
Okay.
But when I check with sources and stuff, I don't really hear this. So there's something I got to be missing. So I need to understand this. Okay. Did an interview with my guy Daryl Dappridge a couple of days ago. Great episode. If you haven't checked it out, go watch it. And here is a comment. Now I'm assuming this RT stands for Roll Tide. This is usually where this kind of stuff comes from. But a lot of our fan base likes to traffic in this as well. So this is just a challenge. I'll read the comment if you're listening on audio. It says, the culture, because the episode we were talking about, can Alex Golis reset the culture at Auburn? The comment here says, the culture cannot be reset in Auburn by the coach. The administration and boosters run that program, and that's why it sucks. So the coach cannot reset the culture at Auburn. It doesn't matter if you brought in Nick Saban. It doesn't matter if you brought in Bill Walsh or John Madden. Doesn't matter. They can't reset it. Steve Spurrier couldn't do nothing at this Auburn team because it's ran by the boosters in the program, and that's why they suck. So here is the challenge that I'm going to issue today, and I hope that the commenter is watching this, and brother, because I'm giving you a fair chance. I'm giving you a fair chance to explain yourself. 1, who? I need names. I want to know the names of these boosters that are sabotaging Auburn. Give me specific names. Quit saying boosters. Who? Who are they? 2, what have they done? What do they do that specifically sabotages Auburn? And if you give me Jetgate, get out of here. I'm talking about post-NIL era. If you give me something that happened back in Pat Dye, well, young man, look, if I wasn't walking the earth yet, I don't want to hear about it. Tell me something right now, post-2020, that's happened that is directly affecting Auburn on the field. I love to hear it. Okay, so I want names. I want specific examples of what they've done. And look, don't give me something nefarious, green, some of them wanted green and some of them blah, blah, blah. No, what are they doing that can't get Auburn off the field on 3rd and 12? And that's my other question. If these boosters, okay. The program can't be fixed. It can't be fixed because of the boosters. Nick, let me ask you a simple question here.
Okay.
What side of the ball over the past 10 years has been the problem at Auburn?
Offense.
Okay. So the boosters, whatever they're the meddling that they do, it only affects the offensive side of the ball. That's interesting to me, that they're so evil and they torpedo Auburn, but their evil torpedoing of Auburn behind the scenes, it only affects one side of the ball. It couldn't possibly be bad hire. It couldn't possibly be the coaches. It couldn't possibly be bad quarterback development. It couldn't be any of that. Nope. It's the boosters. Now, I'm not saying that they haven't been involved in some of those hires. And that some of those, okay, but that's not the point being made here. I want to know what they do on Tuesday. Because this comment that we routinely get here says it can't be fixed. That it can't be fixed. So, have they hired bad coaches before at Auburn? 100%. Has it been messy behind the scenes at Auburn? 100%. I'm being told it can't be fixed because of certain boosters. I need to know names. I need to know what they routinely do. And I need to know that even if Alex Golesh is the right guy, if he does have the right offensive mind to finally get quarterback and offense at Auburn in the 21st century, what are those boosters going to do that ultimately are going to hold him back to the point where he still can't be successful? And why? What are they doing that holds back those guys? But for some reason, it didn't get in DJ Durkin's way. For some reason, it doesn't get in Ron Roberts' way. For some reason, it doesn't get in Kevin Steele's way. Maybe it's just as simple as the defensive hires are good hires and the offensive hires have sucked ass. But I just want to learn. I want to know who the people are every single day behind the scenes at Auburn that are just determined. Hey, this will not be successful. Now, now let me ask y'all this, because it's the boosters' fault, Nick.
Okay.
Who won the Heisman Trophy last night?
Fernando Mendoza from Indiana.
Oh, Fernando Mendoza. All right. So, does Auburn fans know anything about Fernando Mendoza? Did Hugh Freeze know anything about Fernando Mendoza?
You
should have. Fernando Mendoza came to Jordan-Hare Stadium, got hit in the chest. DJ brought the house. Didn't matter. Because for as goofy as he is, that kid's a dog. He took shot after shot after shot and threw dart after dart after dart. And I left that game going, boy, what's that kid? How? He's got eligibility left. Yes, sir. It happened right in front of your eyes. Happened right in front of you, Hugh. Don't overthink it, baby. Don't overthink it. Then the season ends. Portal opens up. Fernando Mendoza's in the portal. I said, oh, my God.
Yep.
Oh, my God. He came to our building. He kicked our ass. You don't need any more evidence. I checked around. I said, is Auburn going to drop a bag? Because remember, the year before, We're bringing back Peyton Thorne. We didn't feel like we needed to drop a bag on a quarterback. Remember all that? Because the whole Cam Ward rumor and all that. We feel like we're more than a quarterback away. Okay. So I asked around and I heard, no, this time we're going to drop the bag. I said, oh, my God, there he is. He came to our building. There he is. Hugh Freeze decided, I'm going to go get the guy that was on the bench when his team came in here and beat. I don't want to get the guy that lit me up in front of my face. I want to get the guy that wasn't even good enough to be on the bench when his team still beat us. That's the guy I want to go get. Why do I bring all that up? Do you know who gave the $1.5 million to get Jackson Arnold? The boosters. If Hugh Freeze would have went to them and said, I need $1.5 million for Fernando Mendoza, guess what would have happened? He would have got the money for Fernando. Quit blaming the boosters, man. Stop. $30 million on a roster. If Alex Gollers can't win with $30 million, it ain't Jimmy Rain's fault. He gave him the money. What do you want him to do? And I'm not saying everything's perfect, man. It's not. Look at the mess LSU just had. Did it even matter, Nick? Did it even matter? They still got their guy. Did it even matter? Lane Kiffin was the belle of the ball of the wildest coaching search ever. And the team whose governor was firing people, they were trying to not pay the coach that they had fired. Brian Kelly got fired 4 weeks after he got fired. You ever heard of anything like that? They still got him. This sport is absolutely nuts, dude. It's nuts. Boosters pay money.
Yep.
Y'all better hope I don't ever win the Powerball because I'm going to medal my ass off at Auburn, baby. Okay? Stop. We got to stop with this. That's my challenge. I didn't even know I was going to go off on a tangent today. But I just portal season's about to be open. The checkbooks are about to be open. Don't blame the people that open the checkbooks. They're giving. What did Hugh Freeze say in every interview he's done? He said, I picked up the phone and they gave me what I wanted.
He did. Had no problems.
If I tell my old lady, here's the money to go to the grocery store. What do you need, baby? She says, I need $500. I give her $1,000. And the meal still sucks. Who's going to come back and blame me? Make that make sense. Like, am I missing something?
Oh man, that's good. That's good.
Let's get to something. You gonna blame me? Like I gave you the money to go to the store. You told me you could cook it.
Ooh, geez, that's good. That's
and
good
one more time to reiterate, guys. I know Jetgate happened. I know there was a situation with Green and blah, 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 blah. Green got fired for a lot of reasons and he earned it. I promise you. I think the boosters were in the right on that one. Ultimately, man, listen.
That might be one of your best ones right now. That was a good one. If I give you $500 to go to the store and you come back and cook it and the meal still sucks, how you go? That's a good one. I got to put that one in the top. That's like top 3. Yeah. That might be top 2.
Free to use that as an example as long as I get my credit.
Might be top 2.
But that's
top 2 right there. That's top 2. That's a good one.
Ultimately, man, I'm just saying, like, it's not perfect. This is the SEC. The booster culture can get a little crazy. I get all that. When I hear that Auburn's got $30 million on the roster, it's hard for me to blame the people providing the $30 million, guys. It just is. It just is. So now, and if you want to make that argument about they're not hiring the right people, I can get with you on that. And say, okay, so like at some point, man, the people in charge, like y'all are the ones responsible for hiring the right coaches. We got to get that thing right. I can definitely get with you on that. But acting like if the whole program was a mess, then maybe. But it's like, yo, the defense has been good for a decade. Mm-hmm. So to me, it's just like, what do you? So they only mess with the offense, right? So the evil boosters only mess with the offense, but they leave the defense alone. Get out of here, man. We just gotta hire the right guy to get the offense back into the 21st century and actually develop quarterbacks. And like Nick's been talking about for the past 3 weeks here, process matters. You know why Nick's been talking about process so much? Because the process was dog shit at Auburn for the past 3 years.
Yes, it was.
And Nick understands that it has to be better. Slugged Up Durkin says, hate to see him go. It's Singleton or Coger time. Yeah, that's the thing, man. I think that you're going to have a lot of I still think that there's a lot of wide receivers that are going to want to play in this Alex Golis offense. And hey, again, didn't want to see Perry Thompson go. Would have loved to have seen them work out at Auburn. Didn't want to see Malcolm Simmons go. Would have loved to see them work out at Auburn. There's some NIL money freed up.
Yep.
There's some money right there that can be used. Tavon is in here. What's up, buddy? He says, I'm here early. Yes, sir. Waking up on a Sunday morning, getting here, repping with the Up-Tempo podcast. We're glad to have you, bud. My guy Rodney. I think my guy Rodney's an early riser. If I drop a video at 5 a.m, my guy Rodney's the first one. Yeah, but he's up early. 251 in the house. What's up, my guy? Old Man Shredder says, sad to see Malcolm go. Good luck to the young man, War Damn Eagle. Absolutely. I think he can go be successful. You know, that's the thing, too. I think, look, I think Auburn can be good at wide receiver next year, and I think Malcolm Simmons can ball out at receiver somewhere he goes next year, and they can all work out. Everybody can all be good. Lindsay says, good morning, Lindsay. What's up? Thank you for being in here. Richard was in here. I think he left the first comment of the day. He was in here early this morning. Good morning, Richard. Daryl says, it's orange and blue for me no matter what. Go get your money. Will you be happy? Auburn is a great place. I wish you the best of luck. Next man up. 100%, man.
Mm-hmm.
100%. Let's see. Crazy rumors that Bama is coming after Cam Coleman hard. I don't know if there's any team out there that's got money that isn't going to try to come after Cam Coleman and make him a part of what they got going on. I would. If I was Alabama, I would. If I was Georgia, I would. If I was Ohio State, Texas A&M, any of those programs, yes, sir, I'd be coming after Cam Coleman.
Yep.
Our guy Mike G posted a couple of days ago, and I know that he's very close with the Cam Coleman camp, that Auburn feels like they're in a good spot, but that there are teams pushing. So, yeah, this will be I'm going to look this part, just pure speculation on my part, and this may just be the way I'm wired and the way my brain works. I have a hard time thinking a kid that grew up 30 minutes down the streets, the last play as an Auburn Tiger, is going to be fumbling to lose the Iron Bowl. Mm-hmm. And maybe Cam doesn't think that way, and he's got a lot to consider. There's a lot on his plate: money, pro, potential development. There's a lot, so I'm not even trying to put myself in his shoes. But, man, like this, I have a hard time thinking he walks away from Auburn and that being the last play. Got a new member joining the family. Let's go, man. Got tons of member content pumping out for you guys. Lots and lots of film review. Nick, we did the Tavian Branch, the late D-line flip.
Yeah,
from Penn State, because everybody flipped from Penn State.
Yeah.
And my God, dude, I was like, okay,
you got one
3-star, huh?
You got one
3-star. Very, very interesting. We will get to some more of these comments, but I want to bring up this schedule here. If I can get your new member comment, there we go. So the schedule comes out. 2026 Auburn schedule. We already knew the opponents, but now we know the order that they are going to be played in. And our guy Alex Golis. Well, Nick, got it. This is not the same. This is not the same as an American Conference USF schedule. But I will say, man, South Florida, they weren't scared. They scheduled Miami. They scheduled Florida. So he's definitely done that before. Mm-hmm. And he obviously has a background at Tennessee, coaching in the SEC. So here it is. And guys, I will put up a little better graphic as the season goes. I'll put this one up about 15 minutes before the episode went live. I'll get a better one up for future usage here. But Baylor Bears, as we know, and as I have made very public, I cannot stand the fact it will be played in the Mercedes-Benz Dome. Their stadium, I guess the Mercedes-Benz Dome is in New Orleans. I get them confused at this point. Saints, Falcons, they can all kiss my ass. So playing in Atlanta versus Baylor, and then we have Southern Miss coming in, which will be Alex Golis' first home game in front of the home crowd at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Then the Florida Gators, Nick, and this was a game that like Auburn and Florida always kind of had a fun rival. Those have always been classic games over the year. The EA college football game actually has Florida listed as a rival for Auburn. And I think that if you go back over the history and look, you could definitely understand why. But then the Pat Summerall situation, I got to quit saying Summerall. It's Summerall. It's Summerall. There's not an E in there. That we have that other NFL coach from back in the day. It makes everybody want to say his name his way. Pat Summerall coming in there, yes, with the Florida Gators, and then Vanderbilt, who lucky us. The SEC tried to throw us a bone. They said, you know what? Georgia and Alabama are really tough opponents to have as their every year opponent. So we'll give you little old Vandy. And then wouldn't you know it, that little old Vandy just decided to go in their best run since, color TV was invented. So then you have Vanderbilt, and then you're on the road in Neyland Stadium, a bye week, thank the Lord. And then you go on the road to Georgia. So let's talk about these first 6 games first. Nick, Baylor in Atlanta. Then you come home to play Southern Miss, Florida, and Vanderbilt. So you got 4 games right there. I mean, one of them's a neutral site, but 4 games that are, you're going to be not a whole lot of travel involved, and it should be, I would expect the Baylor game to basically be a home game.
Yeah.
And then you get that, at Neyland. Auburn ain't been to Neyland in a while. That's going to be tough. And then a bye week in between what is always a tough trip to Georgia. Just your initial thoughts. And there's a lot that, we don't know portal and what these teams are going to look like and all that. But just, right here as we sit in December, what do you think about those first 6?
Man, I'm looking at this game. I'm looking at these games, and I'm saying, man, there is a lot of opportunity for Auburn here. Of course, you never go in and saying, well, is this a game Auburn could lose? Yeah, it's a game that both teams, it's a 50-50 chance for both teams in this game, to win. I mean, you look at Baylor, man. Baylor will be breaking in a new quarterback. The defense for Baylor, don't know exactly how that's going to look. Moving in, you got a lot of guys on that offensive side of the ball that's going to be gone. Michael Trigg is going to be gone. He gave us problems last season as a tight end. That game is like you said, that game is basically going to be an hour and a half up the road from Auburn. So I mean, I expect that to be technically a home game for Auburn. Southern Miss coach just left to become the head coach at Memphis, if I'm not mistaken. So they'll be breaking in a new general and a new administration there. You're looking at Florida, same thing at Florida, man. Florida is breaking in a new coaching staff as well. And you sitting here and you're saying, yeah, Florida has a lot of talent on their roster. Do they retain some of that talent? Does Summerall go in there and does he try to overhaul the roster to try to make it fit what he wants it to fit as well? You're looking at that as well. You're looking at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt will be breaking in a new quarterback as well. You'll have a lot of guys on the defense side of the ball that's going to be moving on as well. Offensively, you still have Junior Sherrill there, Eli Stowers, who is the top receiver in the country, not just the SEC. He will be moving on, and of course, Pavia won't be there as well. So he's already stated that this was going to be.
Are we sure about that?
Yeah, he said that. He stated. Okay. He stated that this was his last year. Now, if he comes back if he comes back and say he decides he wants to come back, that's news. But he stated early in the season that this was going to be his last year. He did that in a Twitter post. Everybody went crazy about it. Tennessee, man. Now, here's the thing about Tennessee. Tennessee just hired Jim Knowles, defensive coordinator. And Tim Banks, who was the former defensive coordinator at Tennessee, is now at Auburn as the defensive backs coach. I'm looking at this and I'm saying their defense is going to be a lot better than what people think. You think about it. Jim Knowles was the defensive coordinator at Ohio State the year they won the national championship. Then he left to become the highest paid defensive coordinator at Penn State this past season, but that was in a turmoil after, through the first 4 or 5 weeks when you fire a head coach, and it just never got on track. And now he's at Tennessee. So I'm expecting Tennessee's defense to be probably. They will be better than what they were this year. They could potentially be, depending on what they add in the portal. They got a guy in Jordan Carter that I thought Auburn had a really good shot at getting, and he ended up going to Tennessee. But you're looking at that and you're seeing what they're gonna do on the defensive side of the ball. I'm expecting that defensively for Tennessee to be a lot better. Every time we watch Tennessee play this year, I was like, there's something missing. Something is missing on this team. You look at the offensive side of the ball with Joey Aguilar. He was doing his thing. The offense running the ball out there. Chris Brazil is the only 1,000-yard receiver in the conference for Tennessee. In the conference with the SEC, and he's at Tennessee. They had 2 other guys that were close to 1,000-yard receivers. They was pushing 800-900 yards in stats. But the defense just always was when you just watched them, the defense was just giving up points. They gave up 34 points to Kentucky. And Kentucky was not a flashy was not a flashy team. You know, they had a lot of guys on the Kentucky side that were very stable. That, you know, there wasn't like a premier guy. They just had a bunch of guys. They had 2 tight ends that were really great at Kentucky on the offensive side of the ball. That were like the second and third leading receivers coming into the Auburn week. But you look at that, and that Tennessee defense gave up points against Kentucky, and you're sitting here saying Jim Knowles comes in here and tweaks this and, you know, gets this piece to come in and fit there. You potentially could be looking at a defense that could be, you know, top half of the conference, you know, closer to that top quarter of the conference, just based off his track record. But yeah, I'm looking at those first 4 games. Those first 5 games, and I'm saying there's an opportunity for Auburn, man. There's a lot of unknowns with these teams when you look at them. You know, every team that's on Auburn's schedule this year is a lot of unknowns. When you think about it, the only teams that are kind of like solidified where you can look at it and say we kind of know what we're looking at. You're looking at Georgia. You're looking at and Mississippi State. Every other team on here is either breaking in a new quarterback, they breaking in new guys on the defensive side of the ball. There's something different. So you have an opportunity here for Auburn to come in and make some noise early on, and come out of here particularly. I mean, in that first 5 games, could you be 4-1? Could you be 5-0? You know, it's just it's a lot that could potentially set up Auburn for a great season next year. There's just a lot of unknowns on this roster, and the same thing for Auburn. You know, got a new coach coming in. Right. Who will be the quarterback? How will the offense look? But the known part for Auburn is the defense will more than likely still be in check. You know, will still be that same defense, those same guys coming up. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see exactly how this looks, man, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, 4-1. If you got the 4-1 there with that bye week, and I mean, again, I don't even put my record prediction out until the week before the season starts. So if you're like, we got a lot of new subs. So if you're like first time listening, we're not on here giving predictions or nothing.
No.
Yeah, for sure. But look, if you could get to 4-1 before that bye, let me ask you. So I checked this on 3 different sites because I wanted to make sure. So there's no double buys. There's no. It appears like there was only 1 bye week on this year's schedule. Okay.
Yes. So, October 10th, I think.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, I couldn't find another one. Yeah, that sucks because now when you've added another SEC game, I really feel like you need to have. That's kind of brutal. But yeah, they got to go back to that. I was a fan of that. That's just a lot, bro. That's just a lot. And then think about those years in a couple of years when Auburn's playing Notre Dame. Like,
yeah, that's what 2 years, right?
Yeah,
next year, you have the next.
It's tough. So, looking at that Baylor game, I mean, Dave Aranda, it feels like a dead man walking kind of situation there. That game being in Atlanta, that game being Alice Golish's first game as Auburn's head coach. I think that crowd will be obviously probably 75, 80% pro Auburn.
Yeah.
And
more than that, to be honest.
Yeah, probably so. And people will be fired up for sure to just make a quick little trip down the road there and see the new era with Alice Golish. And then, you know, hopefully you should be able to handle your business. Look, I don't know if it's going to go this way, but I did see a legitimate reporter post that Hugh Freeze has interest in the Southern Miss job.
Oh, God.
Football gods, if you hear me, and y'all haven't been listening to me. But if you have not completely forsaken me up there, that would be spectacular. But only if Auburn won. If you did it the other way, then I might give up on the sport. But I don't think he gets that job. But yeah, man. And then Florida, like really fired up that Florida coming in the building. Being somebody saying they already hired Blake Anderson. Good for them. Good for them. That's talking about Southern Miss already hiring Blake Anderson. So, yeah, good for them. But, yeah, the Florida game be tons of fun to have that one back. We're on a 2-game losing streak to Vanderbilt. So, like, for the love of God, can that stop? I've had enough. And, okay, just accept it. Just accept it. Sure. We just couldn't beat Diego Pavia. Fine. I'll take it. But now that he's gone, like, can Auburn – get back to beating Vanderbilt? I think they took the all-time series lead with this one. Like it's Yeah, I see. Enough of that. So let's please God handle that one. At Neyland is tough. Obviously, that's always going to be tough. But when you have that bye week there in between, like this year, you remember you went to A&M and then you went to Oklahoma, or you went to Oklahoma and then A&M, and that was you could tell the boys felt that one physically. Like that second week. They tried. The effort was there, but they looked like they had just been in a war the week before. Having that bye week there, and look, I gotta tell you, Nick, when I saw LSU coming to Jordan Hare, October 24th, let's go, man. Put this game at night.
Yep.
Let's go.
Yep.
And Alex Golesh, I know you weren't here last year, but if you ever hear this clip, we are so tired of the new head coach at Ole Miss talking about us. He's been talking about us.
Yes.
And you weren't here when he's been talking about us. But channel that energy that you channeled to Tom Herman.
That's what we need. That's what we need.
Because we are sick of it.
We need that.
We are sick of it. Not to mention, this is one people from our generation to get to see this rivalry renewed. They had going these last 2 years without playing LSU. It's just been goofy. I know some people hate the Tiger Bowl name. Some people love it. It doesn't matter. For a long time, Les Miles and Tommy Tuberville went head-to-head every year, and the winner won the SEC West. And so good to see that back on the schedule. And Ole Miss on Halloween. I've been to several Ole Miss games on Halloween. And traditionally, for a long time, that's been that weekend matchup. So Ole Miss coming back on the schedule, it being a Halloween. Hopefully they put that one at night, and we'll see. We'll see what they look like with their new head coach. How does that whole situation play out? That's very, very interesting. Arkansas coming into home there, Mississippi State, Stanford, and then at Bryant-Denny there to end it out. So when you look at once you get. And I mean, again, we don't know what all these teams are going to look like, but you've got this little stretch here of Neyland, going to Georgia, and then I think LSU will definitely be formidable. You'll have to respect them. After that, I think Ole Miss, I respect them. Good program right now, but I don't know what in the world they're going to be. Auburn better be better than Arkansas. Auburn better be better than Mississippi State. And then you got Stanford and Bama. So this, again, feels like a scenario, Nick, what we kind of talked about the last couple of years where if Auburn is able to navigate a rough portion, then maybe the back half of that schedule was set. And I don't ever want to say easy, but it definitely could set up to be something more manageable. And my big takeaway here, just from an old school Auburn fan, is I feel a lot better about seeing the Florida Gators, the LSU Tigers, the Mississippi State Bulldogs, and the Ole Miss Rebels on my schedule than Missouri and A&M and Oklahoma, because I don't really care about the Big 12 or the old Big West, Big 8, whatever in the world they called it back in the day, and that now all of a sudden you're supposed to tell me these are conference games. Oklahoma, you can't make me hate you. You can steal a game from us, and that'll help, but you can never make me hate you the way that I hate the LSU Tigers. You can never make me hate you the way I hate the Ole Miss Rebels or the Mississippi State Bulldogs and the Florida Gators. Like, this is a rivalry that I mean, when they went to the divisions, it kind of went away. But even then, man, some of the greatest games in Auburn history that have been played have been Auburn versus Florida. Now you throw the juice of, like, the whole coaching situation and how all that kind of played out. Like, I ain't going to lie, Nick. I might take that one a little personal. Like, I might kind of want Auburn to send a message that day, like, hey, we got the right guy. So
of course.
It'll be fun, man. It's going to be fun. Any closing thoughts on this one?
No, I mean, well, like I'm just gonna reiterate this, man. When you look at all of these teams on the schedule, there's a lot of question marks, and it's the same thing with Auburn. When you look at all these teams on the schedule, a lot of question marks. Who's gonna be quarterback? For these teams. How will the new, even looking at Mississippi State, I sat here and said I think Mississippi State is probably one of the more solid teams that will play next year. They bring it back Zach Arnett as defensive coordinator. You look at Georgia. Georgia's more than likely just going to be Georgia again. They're going to always try to find a way to win, whether they cheat or whatever it is. Timeout, baby, timeout. But no, man, there is a lot of turnover on that. There's a lot of turnover on that schedule there, man. And I think if Alex Golesh can come in and he can get people to buy into what his process is and how he wants everybody to be detail oriented and people buy into it, like you said, to become a player-led driven program. If players, the whole organization believes in it, I believe Auburn has an opportunity to come out here and win some games. Now come back and well, of course we'll be talking about it all off season, but I actually have to see exactly what it looks like after January 14th. I mean, after January 16th, when the portal closes, to see exactly what these rosters look like and who added who, and kind of compare rosters and see exactly where they compared and where they filled holes at for each team. And then we'll be able to make a better assessment from there. But no, it's gonna be fun to see, man. It's gonna be fun to see. You'll probably see a lot of more parity this upcoming season as well. You probably see maybe you'll see some upsets this year as well too. So it's gonna be fun to watch, man. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I saw some people like already asking what would be a disappointing year for Alex Golesh, and I'm like, well, we got to see the roster first. But
yeah,
but I saw some people saying like, man, 7-5, 8-4, that ain't gonna be good enough, and it's like, well, what if half the league goes 8-4 next year? Like, we're gonna have to kind of reprogram our brains a little bit here. This is not. And now with the new 9-game SEC schedule, and you're forced to play another Group of 4 team or Power 4 team.
Auburn won more than 6 games in 3 years. We talking about some 8-4, 7-5.
Yeah,
would be good. Stop.
For sure. For sure. We got and because of that point, Nick, but also because college fans, we're gonna have to retrain our brain a little bit as to what a good season is, winning and loss record. We're just gonna have to do it.
Yep.
If you go 10-7 in the NFL, it's viewed as a good year. And I think that in college now, 8-4 is good, especially if you play an SEC schedule. If you go 8-4, you probably have to look at that and say, solid season.
Solid season.
It's just the game is changing. Let's get to some of these comments before we do get out of here, man. Jeff says, trying to sound nice. I get trying to sound nice, but who cares about them once they leave? LOL. Yeah, I hear you. It's just there are guys that leave under like bad terms. They say things when they go out the door, or they leave and then like our fan base becomes weirdly obsessed with them. There's a Broncos quarterback right now that I don't understand why everyone's so obsessed with him, but I don't want to piss all y'all off. So, but listen, because I know how that is. An Oregon Duck. He's an Oregon Duck. Yeah, but whatever. Listen,
that's good. That's another one. Hey, what you coming up with that? I like
it. This was a big one a couple years ago. I made a lot of people mad.
Okay.
And all I said was, I like the Jarquez Hunters. I like the Jalen Simpsons. You give me those guys. You give me those guys, and y'all can take the Oregon Duck if you want to. And no shade, he did the right move for him, man. It's all, and that's the thing, Jeff. Look, at the end of the day, I'm not in these kids' position. I'm not the one looking at hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, all that kind of stuff. They got to make the decision that is best for them, that's best for their family, that's best for their future. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it that we don't know about as fans, and they're there in the facility every single day. Maybe there's some people around that they just need to get away from. There's a million things that could be going into all these circumstances. So like, as long as they weren't what I call a shitbird, as long as they're not that, then I wish them the best. And I haven't heard, and what I mean when I say that is like late to practice and all that kind of, and just constantly causing problems. And I don't really hear that about a whole lot of guys on this team. The ones that I have heard it about never played, and we're in the portal pretty quickly. A defensive lineman comes out of mine there.
Tight end.
Yeah. Yes. So absolutely. So yeah. So but at the same time, Jeff, I'm not. Let's say Malcolm Simmons goes to Texas A&M. Let's go outside the SEC. Let's say he goes to Ohio State. I'm not going to be sitting there every week going, "Come on, Malcolm, eat, baby, eat." Like, I want them to be successful. I wish them the best. But to your point also there, Jeff, I don't care that much. You ain't at Auburn, brother. Like, I wish you good health, wish you success. I'm not watching the game pulling for you. Now, if you do what the chick Bree Ellis did from softball back in the day, where you leave and you talk, I'm watching and I'm hoping you strike out. But, these situations right here, man, it is what it is. These kids committed to the Freeze 4.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it just didn't pan out for a multitude of reasons. It is what it is. Devin says, preach us. Yeah, I love when you get on your soapbox about this, LOL. Listen, and Devin, I know you've heard me talk about it for a long time. It's not. I had somebody DM me one time and say, ask me to do does a certain booster pay me under the table? Look, and I thought it was funny. That's pretty good. I wish.
You should have said yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I wish. I hope he would tune in. Buddy, do you know how much I support you? I'm not even fighting the fight, man. No, listen. Look, I know how this goes. Like, Baton Rouge is insane. Their booster culture is insane.
Ooh.
Gainesville's booster culture is absolutely insane. Have y'all seen some of the stuff that's come out of Oxford? Have you seen what Oxford and Starkville boosters do to each other? Do we need to do some research into what goes on in Knoxville with their booster culture? The SEC booster culture is nuts. It's crazy. It means more and all those taglines. So I'm not saying that there aren't things that go on, that there aren't stories where it's like, whoa. Okay, there's definitely some for sure. My point is, and the point that I will continue to make is, you show me where in a 4th down and 1 versus Georgia, where something that a booster did affected the miscommunication between Peyton Thorne and Hugh Freeze. Show me where the booster came into the facility that week and implemented a play that the head coach wasn't there to be implemented for, that led to that whole communication when it happened. Show me where that's the problem. Because my argument has always been, no, they provide the money to the people for that to not be an issue. Now, again, do they go behind the scenes and, maybe I want this? Stop the Steal was a real thing. Jetgate was a real thing. I'm not saying there's not BS that goes on. But to the point of, how come DJ Durkin does a good job on defense despite the boosters? How come Ron Roberts did a good job on defense despite the boosters? How come Kevin Steele did a good job on defense despite the boosters? How come they can do a good job despite the boosters, but the offensive coaches don't? That, like, some of the narratives here, we got to move past them and get to the truth. And at the end of the day, if you want Auburn to survive in this version of college football, you better hope them boosters are active, or otherwise we're drowning. $30 million on a roster tells me they're active. A head coach that goes on an interview a month after getting fired by those same people and saying it wasn't their fault, they gave me everything I needed,
should tell you something.
Tells me something. Rodney says, preach it. Yeah, I mean, listen, Sunday morning, we'll get on here and have a little sermon a little bit. And Ant's tapped in. Ant says, I know some things. And then I have another one from Ant.
The insider, man. That's Ant, the insider.
Yeah, right insider. And Ant, I know you do, bud. I know you do. And I'm not saying everything's squeaky clean behind the scenes. The point that I'm making, Ant, is what SEC school is it? We have knowledge of some stuff that goes on behind the scenes at Auburn. But
I got to say something to Ant real quick.
But
Ant, where were you Friday? I think I know where you were. You was down the street at that restaurant. That's all I'm gonna say. Shout out to Ant though. Okay. Shout out to Insider Ant.
Yeah, look, love Ant. Ant's a long supporter of the long-time supporter of the show. He's definitely tapped in. He definitely knows the stuff. I would listen whenever Ant speaks. What I'm saying, Ant, is that at the end of the day, with some of the stuff that you know about that has happened, I don't think some of those things have prevented Auburn from moving the football down the field on offense. That's my thing. And I think that the money is being put forth to get it to move down the field. And that ultimately, if Alex Golesh has a good scheme and a good and all that, and his play calling and all that works, then it don't matter. Because I remember, and this is an extreme example, but you can go back and you can dig these articles up online. In the late 90s, all the people at LSU were talking about, man, we got all these recruits in the state and all this kind of stuff, and we got this stadium, and we just can't win any games.
Mm-hmm.
And then they hired a head coach that came in there and turned all that around, and that was that. Yep. Alabama, Mike Shula. They hired a coach that never even coached a game, came down here to my hometown of Pensacola, made a trip to Aridy's Angels, not a place you need to go, boys and girls. Went to Aridy's Angels, and he never even got to coach.
Nope.
And then they made a hire, and look at him now. And it couldn't have been more of a mess behind the scenes in Tuscaloosa at that time. And ultimately, and again, who do you like? Ole Miss, LSU, or Florida? Which one of those teams was the least organized behind the scees?
Oh, right, that's now? A good one. That's a good one. That's a good one because it could be between Florida and LSU.
Okay.
And I would probably give the edge. Probably give the edge to LSU.
All right, because I mean, yeah, because I don't see Ron DeSantis making moves at Florida.
Exactly.
the way that I see the Louisiana governor making moves. So like, and they still got the coach everybody wanted. So it's just at some point, man, all of it, it just becomes like noise to me. Let's see. Seahawks says Dustin is our Obama hype man. Okay.
Shout out to Seahawks.
Okay. What's up, Seahawks? I'm not a political guy, but if I'm getting you guys hype and I'm getting you to believe in something, wasn't his slogan hope? And again,
yes,
I'm not a political guy. Okay. So I lack knowledge on these things, and it's intentional. I intentionally ignore it because I think it's all WWE. It all feels fake to me. But yeah, I'll be that hope. Yes, we can. I'll sell that message for sure. Until the football shows me different. I got Ike Jones in here. Ike, I got to text you, buddy. I need to get you on the show and ask you about your thoughts on the new hire, Alex Golesh. I believe Ike was at the game last night covering Auburn's win over the Chattanooga Mocs. They will be doing their live show at 1 p.m. Central Time today, so tap in over there with the guys over at the War Report. He says, nah, you cooked with that. If I give you the grocery money and the meal sucks, you can't blame me.
That's an all-time classic, Dustin. That's an all-time classic.
Look, bro.
You got to clip that one, Dustin. You got to clip that one.
I'll clip it. I mean, because look, I walk into the kitchen, right? I walk into the kitchen. I'm expecting a full course meal, dude. Cornbread, mashed potatoes, gravy, the whole deal, man.
That's an all-time classic.
And I got a ham sandwich with some mayonnaise on it.
No cheese?
And I'm like,
no cheese?
With
no cheese on the sandwich?
With one of them little $1 bag of Doritos that got like that's really just air. You open it up and there's like 4 Doritos in you. This is got me a little Lunchable, bro. Got me a little $1.25 pizza Lunchable. And that ain't what I paid. This ain't what I paid for. Lindsay says, War Damn Dustin, what's up, Lindsay? Appreciate you being in here. Appreciate you being a member and supporting the show. Zooted 95 says, what's up, Dustin? What's up, Nick? War Damn fellas. We return the favor. War Damn to you, my guy. Rodney reminding everybody, hit that like button. If you're in here, hit that like button. Sub to the channel right now. Do it right now. We have a good time every single Sunday morning. As you guys, you know what? I had comments all week under videos, Nick, that weren't even from our Sunday live show saying Peely Wiggly gas.
Man, listen, bro. Bro, we had that conversation, and I found myself in Dollar General like 2 days ago.
In the checkout line, like, damn it.
And I didn't think about it.
I ain't got no Auburn gear on.
That was the funny part. I didn't think about it till I was at the checkout. I was like, dang, I'm in Dollar General. We just had this conversation last.
Oh yeah. I thought about it too, bro. I said I almost went the other day. The Family Dollar's right down the street. But I had on an Auburn hoodie. I said, no, I can't get caught lacking now. I can't get caught lacking now. I done talked too much. The wrong person take a picture of me and post it online, and I'm going to look like a hypocrite. Yeah, I might have screwed myself, bro. I might not even be able to go there anymore. And it's right up the street.
Man, that was so funny.
But
I had a whole bunch of stuff too. I had like an apple juice in my arm.
Could you see, bro? One Bama fan seeing you and being like, "Hey, hold up.
Hey, wait.
What you talking shit? Yeah.
Oh man,
I might have screwed us, Nick.
That was wow, man.
The Auburn Florida game is going to be off the hook. It really is.
Yeah,
It is going to be a lot of fun, man. And then I'm hoping, I guess that would mean next year we'll go down to Gainesville. And Gainesville's one of them places where if you haven't been, we walked around for like 10 minutes last time I went. And my girlfriend looked at me and said, "It's okay. You can look. They're everywhere." So, thank you. Thank you. I'll put the shades in my pocket. Yeah. Never will you hear me complaining about going to Gainesville.
Yeah, nice,
it's a beautiful place.
UCF nice too, man. The bounce house, great, man.
Yeah. See, I'm not
in Orlando too.
I'm not an Orlando guy.
Yeah, too many toes in Orlando for me.
It feels like a generic Sim City. Like when I'm in Miami, I know I'm in Miami. When I'm in Tampa, I know I'm in Tampa. If I'm in Jacksonville, I know I'm in Jacksonville. If I'm in Orlando, I'm like, it feels like a video game created. I don't like it.
Really?
Yeah, it feels very generic to me.
I just don't like the tolls. It's just too many tolls for me.
It is an expensive place for sure.
Good God.
And it says some decisions are on the players. Yeah, and this is the thing that is like so. I don't want to think hard is the right word, but like, me and Nick talk about this all the time, and I've heard you talk, a bunch about Auburn football. I know you know your stuff. There's just so much that goes into some of this stuff. Like it's just some people will see the Malcolm Simmons thing and they'll say, "Oh, he's chasing the bag." Or they'll see it and they say Auburn couldn't get their money up or whatever. Man, like sometimes there could be 5-6 different reasons, and ultimately decisions just had to be made. And it's like when you go to place blame after a loss. And it's like, well, yeah, sure. The head coach drew up a great play and the quarterback missed a throw or the wide receiver dropped the ball or this happened here or this happened there. But ultimately, you kind of have to. It falls back on the guy responsible at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, that's an important thing. It's an important point that you bring up here, Nick. Some of these things are just, it's on the players. And the thing with the portal is like I can tell y'all, there are guys that I know on the baseball side of things that got told, and this was a couple of years ago. I'm not speaking about anybody recently on the team.
Mm-hmm.
But I know of a baseball player, and I'm not saying Auburn did anything wrong here. This is the process. But I know of a baseball player who told me mid-season, middle of the SEC play, I've been told that I can't come back next year. I need to start looking for portal options, right?
Mm.
Then whenever he made his announcement, in his announcement, he was, thank you, Auburn University, blah, 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 blah. And they made the decision, okay?
Yeah.
But he was still professional in his announcement and all that kind of stuff. And then some of the comments underneath are, well, fine, if you don't want to be here. And it's like, God, it's not. He wants to be here,
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was some of these decisions. So, and then some are, in a situation like Malcolm Simmons, where I feel like Alex Golis most likely wanted to keep him on the team.
Yeah.
But Malcolm Simmons has to think about his livelihood and everything like that, and his career. And he's already spent 2 years. He's already spent 2 years hoping something was going to get corrected.
Very true. And
it didn't. I can't blame him for now saying, "Okay, well, I'm going to gamble again." And look, I like Golis. I like the hire, but we all can acknowledge that we don't know if it's going to work or not. But we're fans. There's no expiration. The day that I quit being an Auburn fan will be the day I stop breathing. Malcolm Simmons has 2 more years, max.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if there's another situation out there where he knows I can go here right now and without question, I will win games and be utilized.
Yep.
Then, that's the decision that he has to make. So like Ant said, some of these decisions are on the players and they're making the right decision for them. Speaking of player decisions, the new QB could be Walker White for Baylor. I don't know the Baylor QB situation going into next year, but if we play Baylor and Walker White's the starting quarterback, that's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be great.
And what if Deuce is the starter for Auburn? Dude, woo, boy, that'd be
a battle. That'd be a battle right there.
Does Hugh Freeze get to flip the coin midfield?
That would be hilarious. That would be hilarious, man.
Let's
That
see
would
which
be
one of my
hilarious.
evals. Yeah. Richard says that's a tough schedule. It is, buddy. That's the life of an Auburn fan. We don't get to be like James Madison and Tulane, I just no, tough schedule. It's the life of the SEC. You can do what Vanderbilt did. You can go 10-2 in the SEC, and then you can watch James Madison
Get in the playoff
over you.
Man, I'm still something, man.
They played one team that's got a top 50 strength of schedule.
Yes.
And they lost to that team
by 14
points.
It was Louisville, by the way, ladies.
And the playoff committee decided that team deserves to be over a 10-2 Vanderbilt SEC team. Absolutely banana land. Yeah, it's a tough schedule, Richard, and that's Auburn's a tough job, bro. And any of these guys, that's why you've got to be the all-time, the biggest kind of alpha to succeed at Auburn or in the SEC with that schedule. And I think that right now, in particular, whether John Cohen made the right hire or not, we'll see in time. But what he was looking for in terms of the edge was the word that he kept using. I was a big fan of that because of where Auburn currently sits. And I talked about this with my guy, Dale Dappridge. Go back and watch that episode. I dropped it Friday where me and Dapp, we talked about it's just you just at some point in sports, you have to push back. People will push you, especially in a physical game like football, if you allow them to do it. And I know that it's the loveliest village on the plains. And I know that we see that the way that they act on the other side of the state, and we pride ourselves on, we don't conduct ourselves that way. Well, that's all well and good. But guess what I walked out of Jordan-Hare Stadium to a couple Saturday nights ago? Rammer, jammer, yell a hammer, go to hell, give them hell, Alabama. Hey, Auburn, dun, hey, Auburn. Guys, I'm tired of walking out that stadium hearing that. I'm tired of it. It's not the way it's supposed to be. It's time for Auburn to push back.
Yep.
Seeing that Missouri kid at overtime on the 50-yard line of a night game at Jordan-Hare Stadium.
Talking noise,
letting you know. You know when it started? It started at the end of 2019.
Okay.
Leading up to the Peach Bowl. UCF said,
yeah,
we are going to blow Auburn off the ball. They said we are faster than Auburn. We have watched the tape. We're bigger, faster, stronger. We're going to kick Auburn's ass. And they said it for a month.
Yep.
And I remember hearing that every day and just being like, oh my God, I can't wait for this game. Who are they talking? What? We had blown out Alabama. We had blown out Georgia. I was like, come on. Just no. No. Derek Brown, all these guys we had. I said, there ain't no way. We had 5 stars, 5-star caliber players, 4-star caliber players with 2 hands. They couldn't block a 2-star with 1 hand. It didn't make any sense. Nothing I saw that day made any sense. And they told us they were going to do it. And ever since then, people have been telling Auburn what they were going to do to Auburn, and they do it.
And they do it.
And look, it is a tough schedule. And it's always going to be a tough schedule at Auburn. But I'm hoping Alex Goles is the guy that doesn't care about that. That's not fazed about that. That wants that. And what encourages me is looking at the way he's scheduled at South Florida. They didn't have to go play Miami. They didn't have to go play Florida. Like, he wasn't scared to play anybody. So I think he's now, will the football work? That's the big question. But in terms of mindset, I like so far what we've seen. Yeah, I'm with you on this one. NH says, glad the Mississippi schools are back on the schedule. Listen, it was I understand your expansion and blah, blah, but to not have any of them and then to not have LSU, like that was weird. I was like, man, you could have at least gave us we could have took, in my opinion, you could have took that A&M game and flipped that with Mississippi State, something like that, instead of just making Auburn play this ridiculous gauntlet like that. And then on top of that, just you made Auburn play Oklahoma and the refs on the same day, so it was a pretty difficult task.
Very difficult day.
Yeah, but yeah, man, glad to see them back. And then Old Man Shredder says this schedule feels right. All those old SWC teams just don't feel like the SEC. And yeah, look, man, over time, like Arkansas got added to the SEC in 1992, and they created the SEC West. So I was born in 91. Me growing up, I knew Arkansas was an SEC West rival. That was usually an 11 o'clock JPP game.
Right? Very true.
And I knew it was going to be a dogfight. They would always play us close, even though we were the better team. And I remember when Felix Jones and McFadden came in there and ruined one of our seasons one time in an 11 o'clock start. But the point I'm making is that, like, my dad hated that. An old Auburn fan. He was like, what is Arkansas doing in our conference, much less a division with them? But in my head, that's all I knew.
Mm-hmm.
So like maybe in time, some of these, I've learned to despise A&M and think that, like, they got the stupidest traditions I've ever seen in college football.
Yeah, the midnight yell is crazy.
Yeah, all of that. Some of their bonfire stuff. If you want to look into that whole thing, I might get flagged for even telling y'all about that one. But check out their bonfire. It's a weird one. So I get it, but ultimately, man, like, I'm with you. Some of these games, Auburn needs to play Mississippi State. Auburn needs to play Ole Miss. Auburn needs to play LSU. I love the NFL. Everyone knows that. I don't shy away from how much I love the NFL, but I love college football. College football is my favorite sport.
Yep.
And the reason why I love college football more than anything else is because of the rivalries, because of the traditions, because my best friend graduated from LSU, and we grew up down the street from each other, and his family being from Baton Rouge and my family being from Alabama. We argued every day. We argued over it. And then guess what? If he won, it was a whole 365.
Yep.
Where I had to hear it. And then if we got him, and that's kind of the nature of the college football rivalries and what makes it different. Look, I love the NFL, but, like, if the Bucs split with the Saints and split with the Falcons, but ultimately win the division, hey, it sucks that we lost to our rivals those games, but we won the division. I don't care. We won the division. We're going to the playoffs. Like,
not if the Panthers have anything to say.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm just using. Now listen,
I'm just saying.
I'm just using that as an example because I hate the Saints and I hate the Falcons.
I got you.
Trust me. Trust me. This is an Auburn pod. I will not get on it, but I will tell you this: if I end this football season with Hugh Freeze and Todd Bowles being let go, if I end this season with no more Hugh Freeze at Auburn and no more Todd Bowles at Tampa Bay Buccaneers, then I can feel the presence of the Lord raining down on me.
I can feel the presence of the Lord.
It's close.
I want to get my blessing right now.
It's coming. It's coming. And Dylan Lark, big Carolina fan, does the College Loop here at the Whirlpool Network. Buddy, I hope y'all get it. I hope y'all get it because I don't want to watch any more of that. Nick, does this sound familiar? And I'm not going to get on this, but does this sound familiar? Tampa Bay Buccaneers got a defensive-minded head coach.
Okay.
And their defense, since he's been the head coach, has been one of the worst defenses in the league, and their offense has been one of the best. The only reason they've even won games with him being the head coach is because of the side of the ball he's not responsible for. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah. Sound like the past couple of years at Auburn.
Oh, makes me want to pull my hair out, bud.
What it sounds like.
Yeah. Crazy times. Our guy Jake Crane sat down with Mike G at SEC Media Days. When Mike G asked him about Hugh Freeze, Jake said he nailed it. He said, you can't be bad at what we brought you here to be good at. So Alex Golish, another offensive-minded head coach being brought to Auburn to get this offense into the 21st century. Can Auburn finally have productive quarterback play? Nick, I feel good, buddy. I feel good. That's how I'll end this. I'll ask you. You were on the live show 2 weeks ago when all this broke, and it kind of caught us off guard. We've had some time now to kind of digest it, soak it all in. I know we're a long way from making any predictions or anything, but as we've seen these press conferences, gone back and watched old games, learned some stories, read some stuff. How you feeling, man? What's the optimism meter? What's the hype meter from my guy Nick Frazier in terms of this new hire in Alex Golesh?
Man, I got to be careful because I was hype on Auburn being a playoff team this year.
Let it bug, baby, bug.
No, I mean, here's the thing. And I'm gonna be. This is as serious as I can be about this. When I started reading more about Alex Golesh and I started listening to him and started seeing exactly what he's about, and then when you start watching previous interviews and seeing previous game clips and seeing previous games, and it all sounds the exact same, that's when I was like, I think Auburn got something right here. Because when every time, everything he talks about three things: process driven, detail oriented, and player driven programs. Three things. If you go back and watch any interview he does, every time he speaks about it, he always mentions those things. He always mentions about being process oriented, always mentions about being detail oriented, always mentions about being player driven programs, and always talks about finding the right fits for the program. Every time you hear him talk in any interview, in some capacity, he's going to talk about that. And when somebody talks about that so much, you can't help but feel like the process that they have is what it is, that wherever they've been, they've implemented that process and it's worked. You saw it. You saw it like when you go back to Iowa State and he helped develop Brock Purdy there. When he went and he had to build a program. I think it was Westchesterville or something like that. And they had to build a program there. You know, when he went to Tennessee and basically kind of transformed Hendon Hooker and Joe Milton. Then when you come into USF and a team that had only won 4 games before he got there, he implements his process. They win 7 games his first year. They win 7 games again, and then they win 9 games this past season with an opportunity to win 10 in a bowl game. When you sit here and you just hear this person talks about being in a process or having a system and they believe in it, all he has to do is come in and implement it, but you also got to have the guys that come in and want to buy into it as well, which when he talks about finding the right guys and the right fit into the system, I think it's inevitable. If he just gets the time, I think it's inevitable that it will work, because everywhere he's been, we've seen it. We haven't just seen proof of concept, but we've seen the process part of it as well. So I'm just looking at it and I'm saying, man, I'm excited about it. Still, you still got to be cautious about it as well. But the thing is, you are optimistic and you are excited because of what you've seen in the past and you've seen it produce everywhere he's been. So on the optimism meter, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm at like a 7.5, 8 right now. So it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm excited, buddy. I'm excited. I cannot wait for this portal cycle to hit, to see kind of what this roster looks like, how everything falls into place. There are a couple more comments I want to get to before we got here. Y'all do us a favor, man. Like that video. Subscribe to the channel today. If you were over there on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get those podcasts, man, leave a 5-star review. Turn on automatic downloads over there. Follow Nick over at the Water Cooler Talk podcast. Nick, we reached 1,000, I saw.
Yeah, man. Water Cooler Talk Sports hit 1,000 subs before the end of 2025. Hey, man, we still trying to grow. We still trying to keep climbing. So if you don't mind, if you haven't subscribed yet, come on over there and hit the subscribe button. We talk SEC football, Auburn football, and college football over there, man. Yeah. So we appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. And shout out to Dusty for always giving us opportunity to come over here.
Yeah, buddy. Devin says, respect Auburn when you leave, and we will respect you. Cough. Yep. Aiden Holloway. Cough, cough. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And, this is the thing. This is a great comment, Devin, because and Malcolm hasn't said anything bad on the way out. I mean, there's still time to go, but I don't think he will. Perry hasn't said anything bad. Those guys could actually say, hey, I was sold a dream.
Yeah.
And it would have made sense.
Yep.
When Aiden said that, it was like, brother, you had every opportunity. You Bruce tried to bring you in the tournament game. You committed a foul before the ball was inbounded that put them at the free throw line because they were in the bonus. You were unplayable.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but so, yeah, Devin, you're right. Listen, we're getting used to seeing this, and like, look at the Keontae Scott situation. Okay, look at Keontae Scott. Played great at Auburn 1 year. Wanted to move to a different position the next year. Didn't work. Like, he wasn't good at all when he moved to outside corner. He leaves. Miami moves him back to the spot that he's good at, and he's playing great again. Like, was Auburn in the wrong there? No. Was Keontae? He made the decision that was best for him. Like, it just worked out for everybody. Like, sometimes, man, these things, they play out a certain kind of way. As long as people are respectful, we've got to understand now that this is just the way it happens in college sports. I mean, it feels like every year now you could be blowing up. Like, you could have 3 new quarterbacks every single year. It just blows up like that. So, just be respectful in your way, in your way that you exit and all that kind of stuff, and don't take unnecessary shots. Or you could do the Aiden Holloway thing, or you could do the Chad Baker Mazara way. You've seen kind of both examples, and it is what it is ultimately. And like I make jokes about Bo Nix. Bo Nix has been great. He was very respectful for Auburn. He made the right decision for him. So like, yeah, that's the way to do it. Ty Webb says the Bucks are clowns. Who dat and War Eagle. 2 parts of this I can rock with you on. Okay, I can rock with you on the War Eagle, Ty, and I can rock with you right now on the Bucks are playing like clowns. But in terms of who dat, the whole league, brother. You talking about the whole league is who that is.
Keep pounding, man. Keep pounding.
Yeah. The whole league. Yes. I know that the Saints did just beat Tampa, and congrats. But split, right? Like, Tampa did also get that ass in the dome. It's also 4 in a row now. Tampa's beat the Saints 4 in a row in the dome. Like, protect your trap for the love of God. And Drew Brees' last game, your all-time great, his last game, how'd that end? He walked off the field a loser to the Bucs in the playoffs. And that was the Saints' last playoff game.
That is true.
They have not been back to the playoffs. The Bucs won the Super Bowl that year and have not missed the playoffs since. Now, they will this year, and Todd Bowles will be fired, and Carolina will win, and it is falling apart.
Keep pounding, baby.
Okay? But just to reiterate, Ty, in terms of who dat, everybody. And I'm not happy with what's going on with the Bucs. But, brother, dust off that brown paper bag down there in New Orleans, because you guys are not getting any better. You guys are the Aints, and it's going to be the Aints. And that's just the way it is. So, but, hey, man, you are right. Bucks are. I can rock with you on that. And I love the second part of that, Ty. War damn Eagle, baby. Love you guys. Appreciate y'all. It's tough times out here on the football world for some of us. Like the video, sub to the channel. We will be back later in the week. Members, stay on the lookout. We are dropping these film breakdowns right now. That's kind of where we're keeping the basketball content, dropping it over there. So stay on the lookout for that. And we just got tons of exclusive up-tempo content dropping every single day. Go follow Nick over at the Water Cooler Talk podcast. Follow him on X as well. Nick, appreciate you, buddy. This has been a fun one. Got some episodes we're going to drop this week about staff, all that kind of stuff. I just want to wait for all that to be finalized, and we'll get into all that. And then it'll be portal time, and the news is coming, baby. It ain't stopping. So, yeah, man. Great crowd today. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Like the video. Sub to the channel. God bless. We joke. We have fun with all of you. I appreciate every single one of y'all for tapping in, man. I really do. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace.